My sister demanded I abort my baby so she could be first. The rest of the family turned on me. What happened next left them in silence. I was 3 months pregnant when my sister Vanessa called an emergency family meeting. I thought maybe someone had died. Instead, I walked into an intervention about my uterus. Vanessa sat at the head of the table like she was chairing a board meeting. Mom and Dad flanked her sides. My aunt was there. Even my grandmother had been wheeled in for this. "We need to discuss your situation," Vanessa said, folding her hands. She was 32. I was 28. We'd always been close, or so I thought. "My pregnancy?" I asked, confused. I'd announced it 2 weeks earlier. Everyone had seemed happy. Hugs all around. Mom had even started knitting. "Yes." Vanessa's jaw was tight. "You're ruining everything." I actually laughed. "Ruining what?" "My timeline." She said it like I should have known, like it was obvious. "I've been with Tyler for 4 years. We're supposed to get engaged this Christmas, married next fall, and pregnant by the following spring. I'll be 34. The perfect age for a first baby." I stared at her. "Okay, and you're cutting in line." The room went silent. I looked around for someone to tell me this was a joke. No one did. Dad cleared his throat. "Vanessa has a point, sweetie. She is the oldest." "This isn't a restaurant," I said slowly. "There's no line for grandchildren." But Vanessa wasn't done. She pulled out her phone and showed me a spreadsheet. An actual color-coded spreadsheet detailing her 5-year plan, education milestones, career advancement, wedding timeline, optimal conception windows. And right there, highlighted in angry red, was my due date. July 10th. "You're having the first grandchild," she said. "The first granddaughter or grandson. That was supposed to be mine." "I didn't do this to hurt you," I said, my hands instinctively covering my stomach. "Liam and I have been trying for a year. We're ready. But I've been preparing longer." Vanessa snapped. "I have the better career, the bigger house, the more stable relationship. My child should come first. It makes logical sense." Mom jumped in then. "Honey, Vanessa's worked so hard. Maybe you could just wait? A year or two?" I felt like I'd been slapped. "Wait, I'm already pregnant." "Well," Vanessa's eyes met mine, cold, calculated. "There are options." The room temperature seemed to drop. "Are you asking me to—" "I'm saying that if you really love this family, you'd consider what's best for everyone, not just yourself." I stood up so fast my chair fell over. "You want me to abort my baby so you can have yours first?" "Don't be dramatic," my aunt said. "Vanessa's just asking you to think about the family hierarchy, the natural order of things." My grandmother finally spoke, her voice thin but firm. "The eldest daughter bears the first heir. It's tradition. Your mother waited for my sister. I waited for my cousin. You wait for Vanessa." "That's insane," I said. "That's actually insane," but I could see it in their faces. They'd already decided. Vanessa's baby would be first, or there would be consequences. Over the next 2 weeks, they made good on that threat. Mom canceled our shopping trip for baby furniture. Dad said he wouldn't help with the down payment on our bigger apartment like he'd promised. My cousin stopped texting. At my 12-week ultrasound, I sat alone. Liam was deployed overseas. My family had been invited. No one came. Then Vanessa took it further. She called my work and told them I was having complications. She contacted my doctor's office pretending to be me and tried to cancel my appointments. She sent me articles about abortion procedures. Every single day. "Just do it," she texted one night. "We can pretend it never happened. Everyone wins." I blocked her number. But the harassment continued through other family members. Voicemails, emails, letters, all saying the same thing. I was selfish. I was breaking tradition. I was tearing the family apart. My baby's first kicks happened while I cried on my bathroom floor, reading another message from my mother about how disappointed she was. At 16 weeks, my doctor noticed my blood pressure was dangerously high. "Stress," she said. I needed to eliminate stressors immediately. I told her my entire family was the stressor and I couldn't exactly eliminate them. She looked at me seriously and said yes, I could. That night, I changed my phone number. I blocked everyone on social media. I told my landlord that no one claiming to be family could be given access to my apartment. I told my boss about the situation after Vanessa's attempt to get me fired. He was horrified. He put a note in my file that only he could approve any leave requests and that no one calling about me should be given information. Liam called me from his base in Germany when he had spare minutes. He was the only person who knew my new number. "They're really that bad?" he asked, his voice crackling through the connection. "They want me to abort our baby because my sister wants to be pregnant first." Silence on the other end. Then, "What the actual fuck?" "Yeah, I'm putting in for emergency leave." "Don't," I said quickly. "You're home in 3 months. We can't afford for you to lose this deployment bonus." "I'll be fine." But I wasn't fine. I was alone, completely alone. I worked my shifts at the pharmacy counting pills and checking prescriptions while my feet swelled and my back ached. Customers would smile at my growing belly and ask when I was due. I'd smile back and say July. They'd ask if I was excited. I'd say yes. They'd ask if my family was excited. I'd say they were. Because what else could I say? That my family had demanded I terminate this pregnancy because my sister had a spreadsheet? At my anatomy scan, I found out I was having a girl. The ultrasound technician printed out photos and said congratulations. I cried in the parking lot for 20 minutes because I had no one to call. No one to share the news with. My daughter kicked and rolled. oblivious to the fact that her entire extended family had rejected her before she was even born. I drove home and taped the ultrasound photos to my refrigerator. Just me and her. That would have to be enough. I worked extra shifts at the pharmacy to save money. Without my dad's promised help, we couldn't afford a bigger place. I'd be bringing a baby home to a one-bedroom apartment with thin walls and neighbors who complained about everything. I bought baby supplies from thrift stores and Facebook Marketplace. A crib with a broken slat that I fixed with wood glue and YouTube videos. Onesies that were stained but clean. I washed them 3 times in hot water with baby detergent until they were soft and faded. A changing table someone was throwing away because one leg was wobbly. I reinforced it with brackets from the hardware store. A bassinet that smelled like someone else's baby powder. I took a prenatal class alone. All the other women had partners or mothers or sisters with them. They'd practice breathing techniques in pairs. The instructor kept trying to pair me with her assistant. I wanted to disappear. We watched a video about labor. One woman in the class fainted. Her husband caught her. Who would catch me? I was 7 months pregnant when Vanessa found me. I was leaving the prenatal yoga class I'd started attending, waddling to my car with my gym bag, when she appeared from behind a minivan. She looked different. Thinner. Her hair was shorter, cut into a severe bob that made her face look angular and harsh. Her eyes had dark circles underneath them. She looked like she hadn't slept in weeks. "We need to talk," she said, blocking my car door. "No, we don't. You can't hide forever." "I'm not hiding. I'm living my life." I tried to move past her, but she grabbed my arm. Her nails dug into my skin. Her hands were cold. She was shaking. "Let go of me. Not until you listen." Her eyes were wild, desperate, red-rimmed and watery. Tyler left me. I stopped struggling. "What?" He said I was obsessed with having a baby, that I'd become someone he didn't recognize, that I checked his phone to make sure he wasn't talking to women who might get pregnant before me, that I cried every time we passed a baby store, that I made him schedule sex according to my future ovulation calendar, even though we weren't even trying yet. "He broke up with me last month." Her voice cracked. "Because of you. Because you got pregnant and I became so focused on competing with you that I drove him away. He said I needed help, that I was sick. He packed his things while I was at work and left his key on the counter. That's not my fault, Vanessa." "Yes, it is." She was screaming now. People were staring. A woman pulled out her phone. "You ruined everything. My timeline is destroyed. I'm 32 and single and you're about to have the first grandchild. Do you know what that means? Do you know how that makes me look? Everyone will know I failed. Everyone will know you won. Then be happy for me," I said quietly. "Just be my sister and be happy for me." I can't. Tears were streaming down her face, mascara running in black rivers down her cheeks. She looked unhinged. "Don't you understand? I can't be happy for you. I hate you. I hate your baby. I hate that you won. I wake up every morning and the first thing I think about is how much I hate that you're pregnant. I look at your Facebook and I want to reach through the screen and..." She stopped herself. But I heard what she wasn't saying. My hand went to my stomach protectively. "You need help, Vanessa." "I know," she whispered. "I know I do. Mom and Dad think I'm crazy. They won't talk to me anymore. They blame me for all of this, for pushing you away, for making them choose. They chose me and now they're stuck with me, the daughter who ruined everything." She finally released my arm, leaving little red half-moon marks from her nails. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I don't know how to stop feeling this way." "Then get help. But stay away from me. Stay away from my baby." I got in my car and locked the doors. She stood in the parking lot crying while I drove away. My hands were shaking so badly I had to pull over 3 blocks away. I sat there breathing deeply like they'd taught us in yoga class. In through the nose, out through the mouth. My daughter was moving, somersaulting inside me, pressing against my ribs. I put my hand on my belly and felt her push back, like she was telling me she was okay, that we were okay. I drove home and ate dinner alone, leftover pasta from 2 nights ago that I'd made in bulk, because cooking for one while pregnant was depressing. I fell asleep on the couch because I couldn't get comfortable in bed anymore. My hips ached, my back screamed. I had heartburn that made me taste acid every time I swallowed. I woke up at 2 a.m. needing to pee for the 4th time that night. This was my life, pregnant and alone, but at least my baby was alive. At least she was growing. At least she was mine. Liam came home 2 weeks before my due date. I picked him up at the airport at 6 a.m. on a Thursday. He'd grown a beard and lost weight. His uniform hung differently on his frame. He smelled like airplane recycled air and army barracks and something else I couldn't name. Something foreign. He held me in the terminal while I sobbed into his chest. "I'm here now," he kept saying. "I'm here. I've got you. You're not alone anymore." We drove home in the early morning light. He kept his hand on my belly, feeling our daughter move. "She's so active," he said with wonder. "She's always like this?" "Especially at night," I told him. "She kicks my bladder and I have to pee every hour." He laughed. "That's my girl, already causing trouble." We set up the nursery together in what used to be our office. It was small. The crib barely fit next to the dresser. There was no room for a rocking chair, so I'd bought a glider that folded. But Liam painted clouds on the ceiling using a sponge and white and blue paint. He installed a star nightlight that projected constellations onto the walls. He built the changing table from thrift store parts, reinforcing the joints with wood glue and screws so it wouldn't wobble when we changed diapers. We hung curtains I'd sewn from clearance fabric at Joann's, light purple with white polka dots. It wasn't perfect. It didn't look like the Instagram nurseries with coordinated themes and expensive furniture, but it was ours. We'd made it with our hands and our money and our love. My water broke at 3:17 a.m. on a Tuesday. I woke up feeling wet and confused. Then the first contraction hit and I understood. "Liam," I said, shaking him. "Liam, it's time." We grabbed the hospital bag I'd packed weeks ago and drove through empty streets. The city was asleep. Streetlights flashed yellow. Liam held my hand through every contraction. He timed them on his phone. 6 minutes apart, then 5, then 4. He breathed with me. In through the nose, out through the mouth. He told me I was strong and beautiful and doing amazing. He ran red lights. We got to the hospital at 4 a.m. They put me in a wheelchair even though I could walk. Hospital policy. They wheeled me up to labor and delivery. The nurse checked me and said I was 4 centimeters dilated. Good progress. She hooked me up to monitors, one for contractions, one for the baby's heartbeat. The sound filled the room. Thump, 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 thump. Fast and steady. Healthy. My daughter's heart. Labor lasted 19 hours. 19 hours of contractions that felt like my body was being split in half. I threw up 4 times. Green bile because I hadn't eaten. I cried. I screamed. I begged for an epidural. They called the anesthesiologist. He was in surgery. I had to wait 2 more hours. When he finally came, I was 7 centimeters dilated and sobbing. Liam held me still while the doctor inserted the needle into my spine. "Don't move," he said. "I have to stay perfectly still." I gripped Liam's arms hard enough to leave bruises. The epidural took effect within minutes. The relief was so intense I cried again, this time from gratitude. Liam never left. He fed me ice chips from a pink plastic cup. He pressed on my back during contractions even after the epidural because I could still feel pressure. He told me stories about Germany to distract me, about the food, the people, the buildings that had survived wars, about how he'd thought about me and our baby every single day, how he'd counted down the hours until he could come home. When the nurse said it was time to push, he held my leg and counted and said, "You can do this. I see her hair. She has dark hair. You're almost there. Just one more push. You're so strong. I'm so proud of you. One more. One more. There she is. I see her. I see our daughter." My daughter was born at 10:47 p.m. on July 8th, 2 days before her due date. She weighed 7 pounds, 3 ounces. She had a full head of black hair matted down and covered in white vernix. She had her father's nose, wide nostrils, and a slight upturn at the end. When they placed her on my chest, still covered in vernix and blood and amniotic fluid, still attached to the umbilical cord that was pulsing with blood, she opened her eyes and looked right at me. Dark blue eyes, curious, alert, taking in the world for the first time, taking in me. "Hi, baby girl," I whispered through tears. I'm your mama, and I love you so much. I've been waiting to meet you. You're so beautiful. You're perfect." Liam was crying. The nurses were smiling. Someone took a photo. My daughter made a tiny mewing sound and stretched her fingers. I counted them. 10 perfect fingers with tiny nails like seashells. 10 perfect toes that curled when I touched them. A universe contained in 7 pounds. My universe. We named her Iris, after Liam's grandmother, who I'd never met but who he said would have loved me, who would have stood up for me against my family, who would have been there. Iris Rose. No family middle name, no tradition, no passing down my mother's name or my grandmother's name. Just a name we both loved, a name that was hers alone. The hospital room was quiet. There were no visitors, no flowers from grandparents, no balloons from aunts, no teddy bears from cousins. Just the 3 of us. Our little family. Liam slept in the chair next to my bed, still in his travel clothes because he hadn't gone home to shower or change. Iris slept in her bassinet, making soft snuffling sounds like a kitten. Her hands were curled into tiny fists. Her mouth moved like she was dreaming about nursing. I stayed awake, staring at her, memorizing her face, the curve of her cheek, the way her eyebrows furrowed when she dreamed, the little birthmark on her right shoulder blade, every detail. A different nurse came in at 2 a.m. to check my vitals. She was older, maybe 60, with gray hair and kind eyes. She looked at Iris and smiled. "First baby?" she asked. I nodded. "She's beautiful. Where's your family? Usually we have to kick grandparents out at night." "They're not here," I said. She looked at me for a long moment. Then she said, "Sometimes the family you make is better than the family you're born with." And she left. On day 2, a different nurse came in with a tablet. "You have video call requests," she said. "Do you want to accept them?" "Who from?" she checked. "Your mother? Your aunt? Someone named Vanessa. All trying to video call. All wanting to see the baby they told me to abort. The baby who was now real and cute and convenient for their Facebook albums." "No," I said. "Block them." The nurse nodded and made a note in the computer. "You know," she said, "I've been doing this for 20 years. The families who show up for the pregnancy are the ones who matter, not the ones who show up after the baby is cute enough to post on Facebook." She looked at Iris sleeping peacefully. "You did good, Mama. Don't let anyone make you feel otherwise." We went home on day 3. Liam carried Iris in her car seat like she was made of glass. He installed it in the back seat according to the instructions we'd watched on YouTube 7 times. He drove 15 miles under the speed limit. Every bump made him wince. I moved like an old woman, still sore and bleeding, and feeling like my insides were falling out. We had giant mesh underwear from the hospital and pads the size of mattresses. Glamorous. Our apartment had never felt smaller, or more perfect. That first night, Iris cried for 3 straight hours. We tried everything. Feeding. She latched for 5 minutes, then screamed. Changing. Her diaper was clean. Rocking. She screamed louder, singing. She didn't care. Walking. She just kept crying. We checked her temperature. Normal. We checked for hair tourniquets on her fingers and toes. Nothing. We called the nurse hotline. They said some babies just cry. Try skin to skin. Finally, at 4 a.m., I sat on the floor of the nursery and cried with her. I don't know what you need, I told her through my tears. I'm new at this. I don't know what I'm doing, but I love you. I love you so much. And I'm not going anywhere. I'm your mom, and I'm staying right here. Even when you cry. Even when I don't know how to help. I'm staying. She stopped crying. Just like that. She looked at me with those dark blue eyes, studying my face. Then she yawned, her whole face scrunched up, and she fell asleep in my arms. Just fell asleep, like she'd been waiting for me to say those words, like she needed to know I wasn't leaving. Liam found us on the floor an hour later, both of us sleeping, me propped against the wall, Iris on my chest. He took a picture. Later, he said it was his favorite photo. Not the professional newborn photos we'd paid for where Iris was posed in a basket with a flower crown. Just me and Iris, exhausted, real, surviving. The Facebook messages started coming when I posted a single photo 3 days later. Just Iris's tiny hand wrapped around my finger. No face, no caption. Within an hour, I had 47 messages. My mother was first. She's beautiful. When can we meet her? Then my dad. Congratulations, sweetheart. We'd love to visit. Can we bring anything? My aunt. Oh, honey, she's precious. I can't wait to hold her. My cousins. People I hadn't heard from in months. All suddenly interested. All wanting to meet the baby they'd tried to erase. All acting like nothing had happened. Like they hadn't demanded I abort her. Like they hadn't harassed me through my entire pregnancy. Like they hadn't abandoned me at ultrasounds and doctor's appointments. Like they hadn't told me I was selfish for wanting my own child. Vanessa's message was the longest. 3 paragraphs about how she'd been in therapy, how she realized she'd been wrong, how she wanted to be in Iris's life, how family was important, how blood was thicker than water, how she was working on herself, how she hoped I could forgive her, how our children could be close someday, how she wanted to be the aunt Iris deserved. I deleted every message without responding. Liam watched me do it while burping Iris over his shoulder. You okay? He asked. They don't get to do this, I said. They don't get to reject her and then pretend everything is fine because she's here, and she's real, and she's convenient for their Facebook albums. They don't get to ignore her while she was growing inside me and then suddenly care when she's cute and photo-ready. So what do we tell them? Nothing. We tell them nothing. But they didn't stop. Letters came to our apartment. Slid under the door. Left in our mailbox. Taped to our car windshield. Gifts appeared on our doorstep. Baby clothes with tags still on. Designer brands we couldn't afford. Toys that were too advanced for a newborn. Books about grandparents. All with cards begging for a chance. Please let us meet her. Please give us another chance. We're sorry. We were wrong. She deserves to know her family. We've changed. We miss you. We love you. Please. I threw them all away. Every single one. Liam wanted to return them, but I said no. I don't want anything from them. Not their gifts. Not their money. Not their apologies. They made their choice. My mother showed up one Saturday morning at 7 a.m. I was feeding Iris on the couch, still in my bathrobe, my hair unwashed for 3 days, when the knocking started, loud and persistent. Liam answered the door wearing only sweatpants. I heard my mother's voice from the bedroom. Please, I just want to see her. Just for a minute. I won't even hold her. I'll look through the doorway. Please. No, Liam said firmly. You need to leave. She's my granddaughter. She's our daughter. And you don't get to decide you care about her now. You had 9 months to care. You chose not to. My mother tried to push past him. I heard the scuffle. Heard something crash. A picture frame, maybe. Heard Liam say, I will call the police. Leave now or I'm calling. You have 5 seconds. 5, 4. The door slammed. Iris startled at the noise but kept nursing. Her eyes looked up at me, confused by the sound but trusting. Liam came back to the couch, his jaw tight, a red mark on his arm where my mother had grabbed him. I'm filing for a restraining order, he said. We did. Against all of them. My mother, my father, my sister, my aunt, anyone who had harassed me. Liam printed out every text message, every email, every voicemail. He made a timeline. He included the attempted cancellation of my medical appointments, the calls to my work, the showing up at our apartment, the gifts we didn't want, the harassment, months of it. We went to court on a Tuesday. The judge was a woman in her 50s with no-nonsense eyes. She read through everything, every piece of evidence. Her face got harder with each page. When she got to the text messages from Vanessa telling me to abort, she looked up at my family sitting in the courtroom. You tried to coerce your daughter into terminating her pregnancy? She asked my mother. My mother's face went red. We just thought it would be better timing, she said weakly. We didn't think she was ready. We thought she should wait until she was more stable. Better timing, the judge repeated. She looked at me holding Iris. I dressed her in a white onesie with little ducks on it. Her hair was sticking up in every direction. She was making cooing sounds and grabbing at my necklace. "Ma'am, can you tell me why you felt the timing wasn't right?" "My sister had a plan," my mother said. "She was supposed to have the first baby. It's family tradition. The oldest goes first." The judge stared at her for a long moment. "And you felt this tradition was more important than your daughter's autonomy?" Silence. "Request granted. No contact for 1 year. If violated, we'll extend it indefinitely. If violated more than once, we'll pursue criminal charges for stalking and harassment." Do you understand? My family stood in that courtroom looking shocked, like they couldn't believe it had come to this. Like they were the victims. Vanessa actually spoke up. "You're doing this over a misunderstanding?" I stood up, still holding Iris. "You told me to abort my baby," I said clearly. My voice echoed in the courtroom. "You sent me articles about abortion procedures every day for 3 weeks. You called my work and tried to get me fired. You canceled my doctor's appointments. You harassed me through my entire pregnancy. That's not a misunderstanding. That's who you are. And my daughter will never know you. She'll never know what you tried to do to her. She'll just know she has a mother who chose her, who fought for her, who loved her enough to lose everyone else." We left through a side door. Iris slept through the whole thing, wrapped in a purple blanket my neighbor Mrs. Chen had knitted. She was an elderly Chinese woman who lived across the hall. She'd heard Iris crying one night and knocked on our door with soup in the blanket. "For the baby," she'd said. "Every baby needs something soft." At 3 months old, Iris smiled for the first time. Not a gas smile. A real smile. Liam was making faces at her during a diaper change, sticking out his tongue and crossing his eyes. And suddenly she smiled. A real, gummy, toothless smile that lit up her whole face. We both screamed with joy, and she startled and cried, but then we soothed her and she smiled again. And again. I called Liam's mother in Oregon. She'd been our only family support, sending care packages every 2 weeks and calling every Sunday even though she'd only met me twice before Iris was born. She smiled. I told her through happy tears. Iris smiled. "Oh, honey," she said, her voice thick with emotion. "I wish I could be there to see it. I wish I lived closer." "Come visit," I said impulsively. "Come stay with us. I know it's far, but we have a couch you can sleep on. Please come meet your granddaughter." She arrived 2 weeks later. We picked her up from the airport. She was a 64-year-old woman with Liam's eyes and the kindest smile I'd ever seen. She wore comfortable shoes and a cardigan with flowers on it. She held Iris for the first time in the airport terminal and cried. "She's perfect," she whispered, tears streaming down her face. "You two made something perfect. Look at her. Just look at her." That week felt like what family was supposed to be. Liam's mom, who insisted I call her Patricia, cooked while I napped. She held Iris while I showered and washed my hair properly for the first time in days. She told stories about Liam as a baby, how he never slept, how he screamed for hours, how she thought she was doing everything wrong until her mother told her that some babies are just like that it wasn't her fault. We laughed. We took walks to the park. She pushed Iris in the stroller while Liam and I held hands. She didn't ask questions about my family. She didn't pry. She just loved us. When she left after a week, she hugged me at the airport and whispered in my ear, "You're a wonderful mother. Don't let anyone tell you different. What you did, choosing your baby over everyone else, that took strength most people don't have. Iris is lucky to have you. I'm lucky to have her," I said. "You chose each other. That's what matters." Iris's first Christmas, we stayed home. Just the 3 of us. We bought a small tree from the grocery store lot for $15. It was crooked and half the branches were bare on one side. The guy selling it said we could have it for $10 if we wanted. It was the last one. No one else wanted the ugly tree. We took it home and set it up in the corner of our living room. We decorated it with paper ornaments Liam made while Iris napped. He cut them out of construction paper and colored them with markers, stars, trees, snowflakes, candy canes. We strung lights from the dollar store, white ones that flickered. Iris was 5 months old. She sat in her bouncer, mesmerized by the colored lights. She'd stare and coo and reach out her hands like she could grab them. Patricia sent a box of presents, clothes for Iris in the next 3 sizes up. A new coffee maker for us because ours had broken and we'd been drinking instant coffee for 2 weeks. Homemade cookies and flavors I'd mentioned liking months ago. An ornament that said baby's first Christmas with Iris's name and the year engraved on it. A card that said, "We love you all so much." No one from my family sent anything. Not a card, not a text, nothing. I pretended it didn't hurt, but it did. On Christmas Eve, I stood in front of our ugly little tree after Iris went to sleep and cried. Liam found me there and held me. "They don't deserve you," he said. "They don't deserve her. And one day she's going to be old enough to understand that. And she's going to be glad she had a mother who chose her over everything else." On Christmas morning, we opened presents on the floor. Iris got board books and soft toys and teething rings. She was more interested in the wrapping paper. She crinkled it in her hands and tried to eat it. We had to keep pulling it out of her mouth. Liam got me a locket with Iris's newborn picture inside. I got him a watch he'd been wanting. It wasn't extravagant. We'd set a $50 limit. But it was enough. We made cinnamon rolls from a tube and ate them while watching Iris explore her new toys. It was quiet, simple, perfect. The restraining order expired when Iris was 1 year old. I got a letter from my mother the day after. It was handwritten, 4 pages front and back. "Please," it said, "let me meet my granddaughter. I've been in therapy. Your father has too. individual and couples. We understand what we did wrong. We let Vanessa manipulate us. We prioritized her mental health over your well-being. We believed family hierarchy mattered more than family love. We were wrong. We want to make this right. We want to know Iris. We want to know you. Please give us a chance. One chance. That's all we're asking. I didn't respond. I put the letter in a drawer and tried to forget about it. But 2 weeks later, my doorbell rang on a Saturday afternoon. I opened it without checking the peephole. My mother stood there, older looking, grayer, thinner. She'd lost at least 20 pounds. Her face had new lines around her mouth. Her eyes were red-rimmed like she cried often. Please, she said immediately. 5 minutes. That's all I'm asking. 5 minutes to apologize, to see her. You don't have to let me hold her. I'll stand in the doorway. Please. I should have closed the door. But Iris toddled over, curious about the stranger. She'd just learned to walk 2 weeks ago. She was unsteady, holding onto furniture, but determined. She grabbed my leg and peered around at my mother, sucking on her fingers. My mother's face crumpled when she saw her. Oh, she breathed. Oh, she's so big. She has your eyes. And Liam's nose. She's beautiful. She's so beautiful. What do you want? I asked. To apologize. To you. To her. My mother's hands shook. She was gripping her purse so tightly her knuckles were white. I was wrong. We were all wrong. Vanessa's manipulation, yes. But also my fear of disappointing her. My need to keep the peace. I chose her over you. Over this precious child. And I can't live with that anymore. Your father can't either. We wake up every day and think about what we missed. Her birth, her first smile, her first tooth, her first word, her first steps. Everything. We missed everything because we were afraid to stand up to Vanessa. You're a year too late. I know. Tears rolled down her face, dripping off her chin. But I'm here now. I'm asking for a chance. Not to be the grandmother I should have been from the start. I know I can't get that time back. Just a chance to try. To be something. Anything. Please. Iris grabbed my leg tighter, hiding behind me. She'd never met this woman. This stranger who was biologically her grandmother but had earned nothing. She had no idea that this woman had once demanded she not exist. That this woman had prioritized a spreadsheet over a human life. Did Vanessa put you up to this? I asked. Vanessa's in inpatient treatment, my mother said quietly. Severe depression and anxiety. She had a complete breakdown 6 months ago. She tried to hurt herself. Your father found her in the garage with the car running. She's been in a facility ever since. Intensive therapy, medication. She's been diagnosed with obsessive-compulsive disorder, and some other things I don't fully understand. The doctors said the pressure we put on her to be perfect destroyed her. And in trying to support her, we destroyed you. And we almost destroyed Iris before she was even born. And now you have time for me. My mother flinched like I'd hit her. That's not fair. I mean, you're right, it is fair. That's exactly right. Vanessa consumed all our attention and energy, and we ignored what we were doing to you. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. You should have never demanded I abort my daughter. I know. There's no excuse. I was thinking about Vanessa's plan instead of your life, your baby. I was thinking about keeping peace instead of doing what was right. And I'll regret that for the rest of my life. She was crying harder now, shoulders shaking. Iris watched her with curious eyes. The lady's sad, she said. Her vocabulary was still limited, but she was learning new words every day. Yes, I said. The lady is sad. Why? Because she made bad choices. My mother looked at me. Can we start over? Slowly. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm asking for a chance to do better. To be better. For her. She looked at Iris. I want to know her. I want her to know me. Even if it's just a little. I looked at Liam. He'd been standing in the hallway listening. He shrugged, leaving it to me. It was my family. My choice. I looked at Iris, who was chewing on her fingers and watching this crying woman with curiosity. I thought about all the holidays alone, the milestones with no family, the photos with empty spaces where grandparents should have been, the birthday parties with just us, the times I wanted to call my mom and share a cute thing Iris did but couldn't because we weren't speaking. I thought about Vanessa and treatment, about my mother's gray hair and weight loss, about how exhausting it was to hold on to anger. Once a month, I finally said, you can visit once a month for 1 hour, supervised, here at our apartment. If you say anything about Vanessa or try to manipulate me or make excuses for what you did, you leave and don't come back. This is about Iris, not you, not your guilt, not your need for forgiveness. Her. Do you understand? My mother nodded frantically. Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. I'll do better. I promise I'll do better. Actions, I said, not promises. I don't care about your promises anymore. The first visit was awkward. My mother sat on the couch like a guest in a hotel, hands folded, trying too hard. She brought a stuffed elephant, gray with pink ears. Iris took it, threw it, went back to her blocks. She was building a tower, stacking blocks on top of each other and laughing when they fell. My mother watched her like she was watching a miracle. She's so smart, she said. She's one, but look how she stacks them. She's coordinated. She's one, I repeated. This is normal development. My mother nodded and went quiet. After 45 minutes, I said time was up. My mother stood immediately. Thank you, she whispered at the door. I'll do better next time. I'll be better. The second visit was worse. My mother tried to give Iris candy. a lollipop she'd brought in her purse. Iris was barely one. She can't have that, I said sharply, taking it away. What were you thinking? My mother apologized profusely. I wasn't thinking. I'm sorry. I just wanted her to like me. I wanted to give her something. She doesn't need candy. She needs consistency. You're right. I'm sorry. She asked questions about Iris's routine, her sleep schedule, her favorite foods, her milestones. I answered in short sentences. Yes. No. Around 8. Bananas. When the hour was up, I showed her out. The third visit, my mother brought books. Age-appropriate ones. Board books with animals and colors. She asked if she could read to Iris. I said, okay. She sat on the floor and opened The Very Hungry Caterpillar. Iris climbed into her lap. Just like that. Without prompting. Without me telling her to. She just climbed into my mother's lap like it was the most natural thing in the world and put her thumb in her mouth. My mother's voice shook as she read. When she finished, Iris handed her another book. More, Iris said. My mother looked at me, tears in her eyes, asking permission. I nodded. She read 4 more books. Goodnight Moon, Brown Bear, Chicka Chicka Boom Boom, Where's Spot? Iris fell asleep in her lap during the last one. She's so perfect, my mother whispered. I missed so much. I missed everything. Her first year. I'll never get that back. No, I said. You won't. But can I? Can I be here for what's left? I took Iris from her lap, careful not to wake her. Iris's head lolled against my shoulder. Her mouth was open slightly, drool on her chin. That depends on you, not me. You have to show up. Actually show up. Not when it's convenient. Not when Vanessa's in treatment and you have extra time. Every month. Consistently. You have to earn this. I will, my mother said. I promise I will. Actions, I repeated. Not promises. My father came to the 4th visit. He stood at the door looking nervous. Can I come in? He asked. I stepped aside. He'd brought a wooden toy truck he'd made in his garage, painted red with black wheels. I used to make these for you, he said quietly to me. When you were little. You had a whole collection, I thought. Maybe Iris would like one. She did. She pushed it around the living room, making engine noises. Vroom vroom. My father watched her with wet eyes. She's perfect, he said. She's so perfect. I'm sorry, he said to me, for all of it. For choosing sides. For being a coward. For not protecting you. You told me to abort my baby. I know. Because she wasn't born in the right order. I know. Do you understand how insane that is? I do now. He wiped his eyes with the back of his hand. Vanessa's doctor said she had a complete mental break. That the pressure we put on her to be perfect, to be first, to be the best, it destroyed her. That we created this monster. And in trying to support her, we destroyed you. And we almost destroyed Iris before she was even born. We almost killed our granddaughter because of a fucking spreadsheet. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Almost, I said. But she's here, despite all of you. Because you're strong, my father said. Stronger than any of us. You're a better mother at 28 than your mother and I ever were as parents. You chose your child over everything. That's what parents are supposed to do. And we didn't do that for you. I didn't know what to say to that. So I said nothing. Iris brought him the truck and he got down on the floor with her. They pushed it back and forth, made engine noises together, built a block garage for it, played for the full hour. When he left, he hugged me. I let him, but I didn't hug back. My arms stayed at my sides. By visit 6, a routine had formed. My parents came together. They brought appropriate gifts, books, crayons, puzzles, things Iris could actually use. They played with her. They asked about her development, her language, her sleep. They didn't overstep. They didn't make excuses. They just showed up. Once a month, every month. They never missed a visit. Not once. Iris turned 2. We had a small party at our apartment. Just us, Patricia, and my parents. It was the first time both sides of the family had been together. The first time my parents had met Liam's mother. They were awkward with each other. Polite, but stiff. Patricia brought a homemade cake shaped like a butterfly. Vanilla, with strawberry filling. My father brought wooden blocks he'd been carving for months. Each one had a letter painted on it. The whole alphabet. Patricia brought Iris a tricycle with tassels on the handlebars. Iris opened presents and ate too much cake and laughed. She called my mother Gamma now, my father Bappa. They cried when they first heard it. That night, after everyone left and Iris was asleep in bed with frosting still smeared on her face, my mother helped clean up. Thank you, she said quietly, loading the dishwasher, for letting us back in. We don't deserve it. No, I agreed. You don't. But Iris deserves grandparents who show up. So that's what you're going to be. Not for me. For her. You're here for her. And Vanessa? My mother asked carefully. When she gets out of treatment, she wants to meet Iris. When she's ready. When her doctors say it's okay. That's not my problem, I said. She's doing better. She's been in for almost a year. Intensive therapy, medication management. She's not the same person. Good for her. She wants to apologize. Face to face. She's written you letters, but her therapist said she shouldn't send them until you're ready. Then her therapist should tell her that I'm not ready, that I might never be ready. My mother nodded. She didn't push. She just finished loading the dishwasher and left. Vanessa got out of treatment 6 months later. I knew because my mother told me during a visit. She didn't bring Vanessa. Didn't ask if Vanessa could come. Just mentioned that she was home, that she was doing better, that she was living in her own apartment and working part-time and going to therapy 3 times a week. That night, a letter arrived at my apartment. Not mailed. Hand-delivered and left in my mailbox. 5 pages, front and back, handwritten in Vanessa's neat cursive. I'm sorry. That was how it started. 2 words at the top of page 1. Then 4.5 pages of apologies, explanations, not excuses, she wrote, just context. About her diagnosis, about her treatment, about medication, about therapy, about realizing that she'd tried to pressure me into aborting Iris, about how that thought made her sick now, about how she understood if I never forgave her, about how she wanted to meet Iris eventually. Not as someone important, she wrote, just as someone who loves her, who's sorry, who's trying to be better. I didn't respond for 3 months. I read the letter multiple times. Liam read it. Patricia read it when she visited. What do you think? I asked them both. Liam said it was up to me, that he'd support whatever I decided. Patricia said that forgiveness wasn't for Vanessa. It was for me, so I didn't have to carry the anger anymore. I sent a text. Coffee. Public place. No promises. We met at a Starbucks on a Wednesday afternoon. Liam stayed home with Iris. I arrived first, chose a table near the window, and ordered black coffee I didn't drink. Vanessa arrived 10 minutes late, looking nervous. She was heavier, softer. Her face had filled out. Her hair was longer, past her shoulders, natural brown instead of the dyed blonde she used to maintain. She wore no makeup. Jeans and a sweater. She looked normal, not the polished, perfect version of herself she'd always presented. Hi, she said. Hi. We sat in silence for what felt like hours but was probably only 2 minutes. Finally, Vanessa spoke. I'm not going to make excuses. What I did was unforgivable. I let this idea of perfection consume me, of being first, being best. Mom and Dad raised us in competition, and instead of breaking that cycle, I weaponized it. Against you, against your baby, against Iris. I read her name in one of Mom's texts. I tried to hurt you in the worst possible way. I tried to make you erase your child because of a fucking timeline, because of a spreadsheet. Do you know how insane that sounds now? It sounded insane then, I said. I know, but I couldn't see it. I was so deep in this obsession that I couldn't see anything else. Tyler leaving me was the first crack, then you cutting us off, then watching Mom and Dad realize what they'd done, what we'd all done, and then I broke, completely broke. I tried to kill myself. Did Mom tell you? She mentioned it. I sat in the garage with the car running. Dad found me, saved me, and I was so angry at him for saving me, because living with what I'd done to you felt worse than dying. Vanessa was crying now, quiet tears that she didn't wipe away. I spent a year in treatment, learning that I have OCD, that my need for control and perfection was pathological, that the way Mom and Dad raised us fucked us both up, but it fucked me up in a way that made me hurt you, and I can't undo that. No, I said, you can't. I want to know her, eventually, if you ever let me, but I understand if you don't. I wouldn't, if I were you. I'd tell me to fuck off and never come back. I thought about it. I bet you did. Vanessa laughed a little. A sad, broken sound. Mom shows me pictures. When I visit them, Iris is beautiful. She is. She looks like you. She looks like herself. Vanessa nodded. She was still crying. I'm in therapy twice a week. I'm on medication. I'm working on myself. Not for you. For me. Because I became someone I didn't recognize. Someone cruel. Someone who tried to hurt a baby that hadn't even been born yet. Because she didn't fit into my plan. What kind of person does that? A sick one, I said. You were sick. I was. I am. I'm managing it better now. But I'll always have this. Always have to work at it. And part of that work is acknowledging what I did. Owning it. Not hiding from it. We sat for another hour. Talking. Not fixing anything. Not forgiving. Just talking. About her treatment. About her diagnoses. About the medication that helped. About the therapy that was hard but necessary. About my life with Iris. About her favorite books and foods and songs. About how hard it was being pregnant and alone. About how my mother had showed up eventually and was trying. About how I didn't know if I could ever trust any of them fully again. I don't need you to trust me, Vanessa said as we were leaving. I just need you to know I'm sorry. And I'm here, whenever you're ready. If you're ever ready. And if you're never ready, I understand that too. I went home and held Iris. She was watching Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood on TV, singing along to the trolley song. Liam was folding laundry. I sat on the couch and Iris climbed into my lap. Mama, she said. Hi, Mama. Hi, baby girl. I love you too, so much. That night after Iris was in bed, I posted a photo on Facebook. Iris on her 3rd birthday, smiling at her cake. Her hair was in pigtails. She wore a purple dress. The caption was simple but deliberate. 3 years ago today, my family told me to abort this child because my sister wanted to have the first grandchild. They harassed me through my entire pregnancy. They abandoned me when I needed them most. Today, she is my entire world. To anyone struggling with family pressure, your baby deserves to exist. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. You are stronger than you think. And your child is worth everything. The responses were immediate. Supportive messages from friends I hadn't seen since high school. Angry messages from distant relatives who said I was airing dirty laundry. Messages calling me brave. Messages calling me vindictive. Silence from my immediate family. Then, at 11 p.m., my phone rang. Vanessa. I saw your post, she said. And you're right. Iris deserves to exist. She's lucky to have you as a mother. Someone who fought for her before she could fight for herself. Someone who chose her over everyone and everything. That's what mothers do. And I tried to stop you from being that. She's not lucky, I said. She's just loved. The way every child should be. The way we should have been loved. Without conditions. Without competition. Without having to earn it by being first or best or perfect. The way we should have loved you, Vanessa said quietly. Yeah, you should have. We hung up. I checked on Iris one more time before bed. She was sleeping on her back, arms spread wide like she was making snow angels, mouth open slightly, completely trusting, completely safe, completely unaware of the war that had been fought for her existence. And that's how it should be. She shouldn't carry that weight. That was mine to carry. Mine and theirs. The family who'd failed us both in different ways. But in carrying it, I'd built something stronger. A family that chose each other, that fought for each other, that showed up, not because tradition demanded it, but because love did. Real love. Not the conditional love I'd grown up with. Not love that depended on being first or following a timeline or fitting into someone else's plan. Just love. Simple and fierce and unconditional. Behind me, Liam wrapped his arms around my waist. You're a good mom, he said. I'm the mom she deserves, I said. The mom who will always choose her. No matter what. No matter who. And Iris was worth it. Worth losing my family. Worth the isolation. Worth the pain. Worth every tear I'd cried. And every moment I'd sat alone in doctors' offices. And every time I'd felt completely abandoned. She was worth everything. And I would do it again. 1,000 times. 1,000,000 times. I would always choose her.